Hey guys, welcome back to Fowler's Free Time. I'm your host Chris Fowler, and today we're going to be making banana bread. But not just any banana bread, probably the best banana bread I've ever made. A year ago when we entered lockdown, I started making banana bread based on the easiest recipe I could find on Google, and it wasn't great and it had a tendency to sink after it cooled down. So today, to help me make the best banana bread I've ever made, I'm going to incorporate a recipe from Robin Lumsden's Belcour cookbook. And Auntie Robin's recipe itself is based on Layla Brandon's recipe, which kind of gives you both that transparency and honesty about the fact that banana bread recipes are usually shared, passed down, and everybody puts their own spin on it. In fact, I won't be using the exact recipe, but I would say 95% of it. Now, of course, the first thing that you're going to need is bananas. And you're probably going to buy the bananas and they're going to look like this, but don't go out and make banana bread with those bananas that you just bought because they're way too green. So wait until they turn like this, which is after about a week and a half of sitting on your counter. Or, just use whatever bananas you happen to have that have started to go a little brown, a little spotty. Okay, so before you even start, go to your fridge and get your butter. You're gonna need 4 ounces of unsalted butter, but it needs to be at room temperature. Take that out of the fridge a couple hours ahead of time, or if you want a tip, you can go to your microwave, put a cup of water in the microwave that for 1.5 minutes, so you got it all steamy. Take the cup out of the microwave, and then just put the butter in there, close the microwave, and don't turn it on. That's gonna have a warm environment for your stick of butter to start softening gradually. Hopefully you have a stick of butter that is soft enough to work with. Next up, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Once that's done, let's talk about the other ingredients. So first up, we're going to sift our dry ingredients, which are 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of whole wheat flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, baking soda, we've got 1/4 teaspoon of salt, we've got 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. So all of that is going to get sifted together. Next, I'm going to take 3 very ripe bananas, and the skin looks a little blackened because I had them in the fridge, but they are ripe and they are not spoiled, so don't let the color of the exterior put you off. Okay, I've got a regular little fork and I'm just gonna start mashing them. Okay, it's time for the stand mixer. So get your paddle attachment and we're gonna add 1 cup of white sugar. White sugar is like that pure sweet, and brown sugar might have a little bit more of a molasses flavor to it. Use either. Use what you have. Now we're gonna add our room temperature butter. And I'm just gonna dump that in unceremoniously. Don't throw this away because we can use this to grease the pan. Lock it in place and stir. Okay, let's see how that looks. Egg. You'll notice that I didn't put it on high because we're really only mixing until everything is incorporated. In fact, I'm gonna turn it off now. We're just gonna add a little bit, maybe half of the dry mixture, and add some of the milk. And let's mix this together. Add the rest. And here's the rest of that 1/2 cup of milk. But I use slightly less than 1/2 cup of milk because I'm gonna add in the secret ingredient, which is 2 ounces of Jamaican rum. told you, Auntie Robin, I told you I was going to modify your recipe. All right, let's lock this down and stir it up. Now, at this point, I'm remembering what I forgot last time, which is the vanilla extract. Don't forget the vanilla extract or you will be sad. And I certainly was last time, so let me pop this up and let me add in 1 heaping teaspoon, because my hands are shaking, of vanilla extract. Let's also take this opportunity to scrape the sides and make sure that there's no mixture, dry mixture that is, on the sides of our mixing bowl. And so far it looks good. Scrape the paddle a little bit, sing it. We are looking pretty good. Yeah, looks pretty good, right? Okay. So now we're going to incorporate the bananas and the walnuts, which I actually forgot to chop up, so hang tight. Can't believe I almost forgot the walnuts. So we're just going to take these walnuts and we're going to just rough chop them on our cutting board here. What we're aiming for is about a 1/4 cup of roughly chopped walnuts, which are going to get folded in as the bananas do. And don't pulverize them too much because you don't want a dry powder. So let's see if I can give you a close up there and into our mixture that goes. And now I'm also going to add our bananas. Okay, let's mix. Now during this time, you don't want to over mix this. You just want to, in fact, some people don't even use the mixer at this point. Some people just like to do it by hand and fold in these ingredients. Here's our bread pan, our loaf pan, and here's that wrapper from the butter, which I told you to hold on to, because now if we rub that along the inside, we should have enough leftover butter. Well, that didn't work, so I guess my butter came off really clean from the paper, so I'm still gonna have to cheat and use some spray, but usually that works for me. So you see, not everything works out on camera, so I'm gonna have to use some cooking spray, butter flavor. Just give it a light coating. Now that we've got our greased pan, we are going to pour our lovely banana bread mixture into said pan. Okay, now that we've leveled off the top, some people like to put toppers, like knowing that this is a walnut bread, you might want to put some little walnuts on top. I'm just going to sprinkle some brown sugar on top so that I have a little bit of a sweet crust on the top. Hopefully that doesn't burn in our oven, which is now preheated to 350 degrees. And this is going in there for roughly 1 hour. Okay, so we've been in the oven for 1 hour so far at 350 degrees. Let's see what our banana bread looks like. Ah, it's beautiful. But we have to test it. And that didn't come out as clean as I would like, so I'm gonna give this 5 more minutes before I call it done. Okay, 5-6 more minutes have gone by. Let's try that again, shall we? Okay, this time the toothpick has come out a lot cleaner, so We're gonna set this aside maybe on the kitchen counter and let it cool down before I remove it from the cake pan. And just let it cool down. Let it cool down before you cut into it. It looks absolutely beautiful though. So I was going to wait a little bit longer, but the smell is just too enticing. Oh man, you know, I think maybe I should use a serrated knife, but just So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Fowler's Free Time. This banana bread is phenomenal. The center is fluffy and it's not too sweet. And the whole dish, the whole banana bread is about balance. Now of course I tried to rock the boat a little bit by throwing in some additionals. The walnuts were a welcome addition to the texture, but the rum, to be honest, you can't taste it. I'd like to say a special thank you to Auntie Robin, and for everybody else, that's Robin Lim Lumsden. Her book is on the screen right now and it's available on Amazon and also at the bookstores back home in Jamaica when you guys are not on lockdown. And I want you to read it because it's also a nice window into her family's background, which is very similar to mine as Chinese Jamaican. And you know, I just love the vibe of another home cook experimenting and getting to the point where you've built an empire based on the dishes that you grew up making or that represent aspects of your culture. So big ups to you, Auntie. And for everybody else, please go and buy it. But that about does it for this episode of Fowler's Free Time. I hope you make it, I hope you stay safe, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye for now.